Smart and Lazy, story number 3. The story I have today here is about Natalie. And the title of this one is called, What Car Do You Drive? Now, this is going to be a metaphor, and I hope you guys will stick along with it, but let me paint you the picture first. Natalie's father originally gave me a call and set up a meeting in order to talk about the strategies needed to further his daughter's education. And just like most parents that come to me, the first couple of sentences and descriptions of his daughter were the most common ones that we find. She's a bright and intelligent student, but she lacks effort, she's lazy. And in a lot of cases, especially today, parents and even the teachers start to blame and point fingers at the curriculum, in saying that the curriculum has changed, it's not as hard as it was, they don't have as many problems. And in doing so, they don't have the practice that's necessary in order to succeed. In doing so, I get a fair amount of phone calls for this. But what I do actually find is that, on the other hand, there have to be students at school who do have this drive and motivation to learn and do very well because they do put out the extra effort. So what is the difference here? And over time, what I've done is I've created a couple of different metaphors, such as the brain. I use the mind forest. And in this case, I use cars and driving and gasoline, actually, as the different metaphors and parallels to education here. So what I want to point out here, and it's a common theme that I've been reiterating over and over again, is that smart actually means lazy. A very common phrase that we use is smart but lazy, right? And it's used over and over to explain the kids in school and also people in professional jobs who put out minimal amounts of effort. Now, I want to remind you that in the animal kingdom, in the natural world, the path of least resistance is how all of nature moves forth. And in that situation, if you were to go to the zoo, if an animal is fed and has a place to live, has a roof over their head in a sense, and has no dangers, no imminent dangers for them to be concerned with, they take a path of least resistance. They start to exercise less, they start to conserve their energy, etc. And here's the thing. Within the ways that we praise our students, we unlock the different motivations and the drive behind it. So what I want to point out here is that smart, this thing that we constantly praise for our students, is actually kind of an illusion. And I remember this explanation given to me when I was much younger, where a presenter brought 3 different people up from a crowd and asked each of them to write down a very specific question that they think nobody else would know the answer to. And as they revealed their questions, obviously nobody else happened to know these answers. And so all 3 of these people were deemed to be smart. But in reality, it was actually just an illusion, because every single one of us has something that we care about or that we consider to be more of an expert about. And if you were to give you the chance to present the question to show your intelligence, it's very likely that you can present that. And so knowledge and intelligence, it's all relative, and it's all due to the amount of experience that we have. So as I'm talking to Natalie's father, who is very similar to just about every other of the parents that I do meet, and I asked him, what are the things that you commonly say to your child? What are these things that you say to your daughter? And I'm going to show you that she's actually doing these things just the way that you've been praising. But the difference that I want to make a change in is actually going to be the way that we present ourselves, the way that we speak to our students and our children, because certain things in our phrasing are actually hurting them. And what is that? Well, when it comes down to what we value in school, we commonly value intelligence and we value good looks. Especially in school. The kids who do well academically and the kids who are good looking or have the social sides of that put in place for them tend to do better, all right? But, of course, having intelligence and having good looks aren't always there for every single student, and they aren't always determinant of success in the end. So I asked him, what are the things you commonly say? And it was, the common response. I praise her for being smart when she gets things right, and I praise her for being my beautiful daughter. And now there's nothing wrong with these things. This is actually how many of our cultures have been brought up and what we aim for and how we praise our students. But what you'll find in education recently is that we've actually begun to notice that we praise intelligence, praise kids for being smart, in hopes that they'll realize that being praised for smart actually will result in extra effort. And so in this case, I want you to imagine 3 different cars here. You have the car of the smart, the car of the beautiful, and the car of effort. And what you're doing is you're deciding which one of these cars you're going to give your child the keys to. Well, what most parents do is they give their child the keys to the smart and the beautiful one. And these are the 2 ones that we praise. So we constantly put gas into them and allow these children to further their experience with these 2 cars. What's the experience with the smart car? Well, if you're smart, you want to only answer questions when you know the right answer. You don't want to be labeled as stupid. You don't want to get kicked out of that car or crash it because there are stupid walls out there. In the case that you get a wrong answer, you've crashed that car and it's possible you might not be called smart again. And so these kids are constantly pressured in performance, and they have performance anxiety, and they have these anxious behaviors that are related to whether or not they're getting the right answer. Now, the issue here that I find is that a lot of parents believe that this smart vehicle here actually pulls effort, but it's actually the other way around, okay? This effort car is what pulls the smart car. And if effort, here's the cool thing about that effort car doesn't care about stupid walls. The effort car actually has the ability to get over these. And in the way that we parent our students, in the way that we remind our students of these things, we need to understand the thought process behind our students. So whatever vehicle you praise is like putting gas into this car. It allows your student to further that journey. It allows them to gain experience and to be better. And in the end, what I find most common is that we praise students for smart, for intelligent, and for beauty, for being good looking. And in those 2 cases, the good looking car, that has very little to do with academics in this situation. On the other hand, what we need to realize is that the smart car does not pull the effort one. The effort pulls the smart car. And so if we start to praise effort more and more, praise resilience and drive, and understand how to avoid the obstacles such as these stupid walls that I've been talking about, well, then students become more resilient and they begin to change their mindset into one where we have more growth. In psychology, they call it a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. And on the fixed mindset, that's where you're praising intelligence. So I hope that this was something that we may be able to continue to spread, especially here on the internet. Allow people to understand this. I know that I use the hashtag smart and lazy because I know that it makes you think a little bit. Most people use the word smart but lazy. But the actual logical reasoning behind it is that smart actually means lazy. And so until we start to praise effort, our students will actually do exactly as they're being told. They'll be trying to show off how smart they are. They'll be driving that smart car instead of the effort one. All right. So what car do you drive? And what car is it that you're putting energy, you're putting your gasoline and giving the keys to your student? Which of these cars is it that you're putting them in? Is it the smart one or the effort? Hope to talk to you guys soon. This is Eric with Exclusive Tutoring San Diego, based here, obviously in San Diego, California of the United States. If you have any questions, go ahead and let me know. I'm over at eric@exclusivtutoringsd.com. Go ahead and send me an email. You can also find me on Facebook and over at LinkedIn. And go ahead and let's start a conversation. Maybe what I hope is that we can make a change in education and start to allow educators and parents to see how we can truly unlock the potential of our students. All right? Have a great day.